Welcome back to a new video, and in today's video I'm going to show you how you can blend images together so you can have perfect photo manipulations. Maybe you are a digital creator or even a photographer that wants to blend images together, for instance if you change the background of a photo. There are just a couple of things that you need to understand for this, and it's actually really easy. The first thing that you need to understand is you have to change the colors, because when colors are different on different photos they won't match together. The next thing you have to do is the lighting. The lighting needs to be the same as the background, for instance. And in the lighting, there's also shadows that falls under the part of lighting. And the quality of the images, they need to be in the same kind of range, right? So you cannot use a really good quality photo and take another photo that's really bad quality and try to make them match together. That's not gonna work unless you're gonna blur it out as a background, but try to match the same quality images. And the last thing that is pretty important, that is the perspective of the photos. So you cannot use different perspective photos. It's not gonna work, it's not gonna look real. All right, let's get into Photoshop first. I'm gonna use this photo as an example, and if I take the original photo, which you can see here, she has like a beach background, and I'm gonna totally change that. So first of all, make sure you cut out the image perfectly like I did here. Now to check if it's perfect, just add a color fill as a background once you cut it out, and then move the colors from dark to light to see if it looks good on both of these colors. And for this one, it looks good. So let's first add a new background. So I got this background here that I'm gonna import here. Let's move this here. And this will be my new background. Now you can see it's quite a bit blurred out at the bottom, but that's fine. This is just to show you how to blend this together. So try to avoid that when you do that. Don't take images where there's the difference in the blur. Now, first of all, let's work on the colors. The only thing I'm gonna do here is I'm gonna add a hue and saturation on her layer. Make sure to press this to only affect her and not the background. And I'm gonna drop the saturation. And this is pretty much what I always do. I like to drop the saturation to get rid of the original colors. And later on, I can add my own colors to this. And you can see already it got like more kind of grayish, pretty much like the background here. Now let's also add a color balance. And with color balance, we can change the colors a bit. Don't forget this icon again, so we only affect her layer. And now I want to change the color of her a bit. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to check these images and see what kind of colors this image has. I think this background has a bit more kind of cyan to it. So let's go here. So let's move this to the left. And I'm also going to add a bit of yellowish. You can see here this grass here, kind of a bit orange yellowish. I'm going to add these two colors to this image. And that's already enough. All right, now let's work on the contrast. So this falls under the category of lighting. We don't really have lighting in the background. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna make a dot here, just a white dot. So I can like manipulate the lighting. Let's make this at 100. Just put it there and move it to the right. Let's remove this. And this will be, for instance, be my lighting. So I have an idea of where my lighting is. And now I can work on the contrast. So for the contrast, I just simply gonna add curves here. Let's click this again. And for the curves, I'm gonna take the midtones here and I'm gonna move this slightly down to get more contrast in this image. And I'm gonna take these and pop up the highlights like that. And this already blends better with this background. So that's pretty much it for the lighting here. Now, lighting also needs to have shadows because we have lighting now coming from this side. So we want to make sure she has some shadows. Now to draw shadows, it's actually really easy. We create a new layer under her layer and then we just take a brush. For the colors, I'm gonna sample the ground color here and I'm gonna move it slightly down to make it darker like that. And then I'm gonna take the flow here and put it really low, like maybe 5. And then let's see, we have the soft round brush here. I'm gonna change the shape of the brush more like this. And then if I make the brush smaller, I'm also gonna change the blend mode here to multiply. So this blends better with the background. And then we can brush shadow. So first of all, the shadow under her feet should be the darkest part because that's a place where there is almost no lighting because she's blocking everything. So let's brush there like that. And then let's create a new layer. I like to work on new layers so I can really control every layer. And here I'm gonna make a shadow. Let's drop the flow a bit here, maybe 3. And here I'm gonna make the shadow even bigger like that. So we have the bottom shadow. This is from her feet. And then we have the biggest shadow from her body. And that's pretty easy way to just simply draw shadows. And you can already instantly see that it looks better. Now, if I click on this, I would even drop the opacity of this one slightly so this blends better with this image. Now, if you want to check if your shadows look good, try to remove the background and see how it looks on a grayish background. And here you can see it better. So once you switch to this one, you can even draw these shadows a bit better, like that. And let's make the shadow of this one a bit darker there, because her feet is going up like that. Like that, and also here. And when you move back to your own background, you probably won't see those little flaws, and it already looks better. Now let's drop the opacity here of this one. The bigger shadow should be less visible, just like that. And that's how easy we already changed the lighting and colors on this image. So try this out on your own photo, because once you train a couple of times with these kind of edits that I did here, you will create flawless photo manipulations, and it's actually really easy. You just have to look at the background and your own photo, and you can create a really cool photo manipulation. Now, to edit the lighting here, you could also add a new layer, and then go to edit and select fill, 50% gray, and change the blend mode to overlay. Then make this a clipping mask, so it's only on her layer. And then with the dodge tool, you can make areas lighter. So the right side should be a bit lighter, because we have now lighting coming from that side. So you can just simply brush on her like that. And the other side, the burn tool, like that. Just brush it darker. Just don't do it too much, because it's gonna get burnt. You can see here it got a bit burned, so you have to do this carefully on your photo. So that's actually the only thing you have to do when you create photo manipulations. Just remember these 3 things. Thanks for watching. I hope this video is useful for you, and catch you on the next one.